Hi, it's Will from StormTheCastle.com, and here on YouTube you know me as Epic Fantasy, and this is my latest tutorial. This is a Skyrim project. This is how to make the Nightingale Blade. Fun project. All you need is one sheet of foam board for this, and of course I give you the template. Fun project. I've done a lot of Skyrim projects. I'm going to put a link here to my playlist if you like Skyrim projects. I have swords and shields and helmets, all kinds of stuff, even a sweet roll. This sword is actually very strong because we make it in a way like this. See this? We put this diamond or triangular pattern in the two halves of the blade, and when you put them together, the blade has thickness to it. See the thickness? And that triangular pattern makes this blade very strong. It's got thickness and strength. Thanks for watching my videos. If you're a subscriber, thanks for subscribing. If you're not a subscriber, what do? Hit that button. Dioramas, origami, catapults, and treasure stays, telescopes, terrariums, bonsai trees, and paper games, swords and shields, and real blacksmithing, rattle rockets, animation. I teach the art of real creation. StormTheCastle.com. Let's make something. Okay, print up the template. The link is in the description of the video down below, and cut out the pieces. You end up with 5 pieces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and let's take these 3 pieces that make up the blade and tape them together. So now you've got a full blade section. And one of the wonderful things I like about this project is the whole thing's done on one sheet of foam board. So take that template and lay it along the length of your foam board and trace it. And then flip the template over and trace it again. And we flip it over because if there's any inconsistencies in how you made the template or in how the blade is, this will even things out. Now, right down the center of each one of those blade pieces, draw a line. Right down the center line as if it were the fuller in the blade. It's not a fuller, but as if it were. Right down the center, because we're going to need that line. So you do the same thing with your other pieces. Your pommel and your handle, take those, trace them, flip them over, and trace them again. So now you end up with 2 pieces of everything, and you end up with 6 different pieces of foam board. Mark an X on those 4 pieces, just to keep the, so you know which side is which. So now cut all the pieces out. And there you go. Easy as that. That didn't take long. So now that center line, cut the center line in each of those pieces about as far as here. No need to do it on the handle, leave the handle alone. But only cut through the top layer of paper approximately. Now, draw a line 1/4 of an inch to each side of that center line, right down the length of the blade, and then cut the paper again. So now you've got 3 cuts running the length of the blade right down the center. 1 dead in the center, and 1 cut 1/4 of an inch to each side. So now we're going to gouge out that foam and paper. So do another cut like this at a 45-degree angle to reach towards the center line. See, what happens here is you're cutting out a V-shaped notch all along the length of the foam board, all along the length of the sword. So you do the top line, and then you do the bottom line. See how I'm holding it at an angle there? I'm trying to reach towards that center line at a 45-degree angle. And then we can pluck out the foam. And you're going to see why we do this in a second. It really looks good. And you don't have to be really neat with this. Just try not to pierce the bottom layer of paper. In other words, don't go all the way through the sword. And then pluck out that foam and the paper, and trim it as you need to. See, we're getting that foam out. Look at this, watch this. This next section looks good. See it? There you go. That's a nice notch in that sword. And look on the left how we've only gone about that far. Don't do it over the handle because you want the handle strong. This would weaken the handle because the handle's flat. So there you go. Now watch what happens. Now we can take it, flip it over, and bend it, and it gives you that beautiful line right down the middle of the sword. I've done this technique a time or two in the past. It makes for a very strong sword because you've caused a triangular form, like a diamond-shaped formation with an airspace in between. You're going to be surprised. You're going to be like, it's not a flat sword. It's a 3-dimensional sword. See? So you bend them both so they have a little bit of angle on them, and then glue them together, maintaining that angle. You don't want to glue them flat on each other. If you have to, put a couple of rubber bands on it to hold it while it's drying. Like if you have to use like a regular glue, you're not using hot glue. But look at this. See that? Now that sword has some thickness to it, and that's beautiful like that. And it's very strong. So let's finish up the blade by just gluing down the point and then gluing down the handle. It's fun to do a Skyrim project. I haven't done one in a long time. I do have a playlist with 25 some odd Skyrim projects. So let's do the blade. Paint the whole thing black, both sides and the edges. And then we're going to use a technique called dry brushing to make it look like metal. If you watch my videos, you know how to do this already. You put silver or light gray paint on your brush and then dab most of it off, and then lightly brush over your sword. And one of the beautiful things about this is look how that center line is starting to come out. That bend you made, that fold, it really looks good. I like it. So go ahead and do that. Take your time with this. There's no hurry. I've got this sped up like I think 500 speed. And look at that. Keep doing it until you get the look you want. Doesn't that look like some kind of old beaten metal? I like it. All right, now the ping pong paddles. Take your template and lay it on top of a paddle. And then with a blunted pencil, make sure it's blunted, trace out, pressing down firmly, the whole pattern, everything on that paddle. Now what happens here is it causes an indent in the foam board that you can see. So remove the template and trace out those lines. So what we've done here is we've transferred the pattern from the template to your sword, which is very nice. See, there you go, do them both. Now we're going to add some accent and detail. So all of those lines you drew, cut them. Don't cut all the way through, just cut through the top layer of paper on the foam board. Now use a toothpick to open up all of those cuts. You want a nice space. And then use a pencil to open them up even further, a blunted pencil. See that? That's beautiful. This gives it a really nice look. I use the same technique on my crossguard lightsaber. There you go. I like it. So now painting is a thing you can do any way you want. This is how I did it. I painted them all black. I actually did a couple of different ones. And then I painted silver in all those lines, which I like this look the best. So now cut out that negative space between the phoenix and the emblem, or the nightingale, excuse me, and the emblem. I'm going to cut that space right out, and you'll see what I mean in a second. Right here. See that? Beautiful. And then go ahead and cut that emblem out. And then you can discard the negative space. That's scrap. So now the wings are too big. You can glue it on like this if you want. But let me show you a technique that I really like. I kind of was tinkering around. I like this a lot. I cut those wings down to match the sides of the sword. Right, like this. So place it where it's supposed to be, and then cut them like this. Make a cut here, and make a cut there. And actually make them a little tiny bit longer so they will be tight against the sides of the sword. And then go ahead and glue these ping pong paddles down. And I'll show you what I mean about tight against the side of the sword. So there's one underneath and one on top. But watch this. See, now I push that down right there. Now it's exactly on the side of the sword. And I did it on the other one. It's exactly on the side of the sword. So it has this wonderful curving look, and it meets the edge of the sword. I like it a lot. That's a nice technique. Shoot for that. And then glue down your emblem. Pretty much done. Now we're going to do the same techniques with the pommel. Take your template, trace the lines. You can see the indents So draw them out. Cut it. Cut all the lines. Open them up with a toothpick and a pencil. Paint it any way you want. I did a couple of different color schemes. Glue them together. And then glue them on the end of the sword. And that's it. Your sword is done. Fun. I haven't done a Skyrim project in a long time. Add some detail, red paint. Makes it look really good. But you know, I'm open to more suggestions on Skyrim projects. So you can leave me a suggestion. Look at that. It looks good. I like it a lot. Come on, good. And this is a strong sword. But yeah, leave me some more suggestions on Skyrim projects. But look through my playlist first to make sure I haven't done it already, because I've done a lot of Skyrim projects. Thank you. Thanks for watching that video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're a subscriber, thanks for subscribing to my channel. If you're not a subscriber, hit that button. I always have lots of fun and interesting and very creative projects. I do 2 new ones every week. As an example, here's a couple more videos you might want to watch.